Are we live? I think we're live. Looks live enough to me. What's happening, everybody? Everybody's having a fantastic whatever day you're watching this. Demon 170. Guys, is this car getting any love from anybody? I need to know. I need you to tell me. Fill me in. Let me know where the Demon 170 is getting any adoration from anybody, whether it's a journalist, whether it's an accomplished racer, whether it's a something or another. Help me to understand where the Demon 170 has fallen in line. Because let me just tell you this. And this isn't just the Demon 170, it's kind of a Mopar trait in general. So I don't necessarily want all of this to fall onto the Demon 170 proper. But what you got to remember is that the Demon 170 is going to have to deal with the sins of the father, which is to say the Hellcat, the Red Eye, the Super Stock, the other one, and then that one, the four-wheel drive. You get what I'm saying? This is just the latest iteration, and definitely the last iteration of the Hellcat variants. And nobody's giving it any kind of respect. That to me is saying a lot. Matter of fact, it's more telling just how severely loud silence is, how deafening that it is, that there are no journalists. There are no, well, quite frankly, anybody that is putting any time, effort, or energy into putting the Demon 170 up against anything else that's in the marketplace. Because they already know what the outcome is going to be. As a street car, the Demon 170 is a curiosity at best. It is cartoonish in the amount of power, and yet with the complete lack of traction that it's going to have to offer on the street. And as a race car, slow. It's a slow race car, guys. I'm sorry. I got to tell you like a TI is. How is it a slow race car, you might say? Because nobody is running nines. I'm sorry. Nobody's running eights with a 9-second car in stock trim. And if there is an amount that you could count on less than a hand. Here's the other issue. It's constantly getting clowned on by people that are in the racing community, guys that are into roll racing, guys that are in drag racing, or both, keeping in mind that being into one does not segregate you from the other. I mean, my background is in roll racing primarily, with a lot of bracket racing and drag racing thrown in there. In fact, this little car, wherever it is, there, I wouldn't make a good Buster Scruggs. That Mustang, Foxy, the one that's sitting right on the other side of this wall, 5-speed car. I used to bracket race that thing, but yet my background with the Vipers was primarily all in roll racing. Well, it doesn't matter what nobody's caring about where that Demon 170 lands. And the guys that are running eights are going at it in the same way that they did everything that they could to run a mid 9-second pass with their Demons, the OG Demon, the one that was supposed to sign off the LX platform. So for me, I start to get a little bit confused by the 170. On one hand, it's a thing of beauty. It's got all the technology you could ever want. It is as durable as an anvil. And you can make pass after pass after pass and just have a ball of a time running 920s, 930s, maybe some 19s if you find yourself in some decent enough air. But you got a fun little car that you can go out and, razz your buddies about just how fast your Demon is. And then you can regale them with stories about just how badly you waxed that kid in the Mustang. naturally aspirated, of course, non-twin turbo, and certainly not a car designed for drag racing, the way that the entire weight of Dodge Motor Company was weighing in on the Demon 170 to get it to go down the track, and it's a track car. Just don't let anybody know how much you paid for that thing. It's kind of interesting to me that nobody's talking about it. Nobody's taking it seriously. Nobody really is bothering to care too much about that car. And it's bugging me because I want that car to do well. I want the guys that own them to be able to fly the flag of Mopar as high as possible and send out Mopar, because let's be honest, that's really what we're doing here. We're sending Mopar out with that car. We're sending Mopar out on its shield, by the way, with that car. So if no racers are taking it seriously because it isn't running a number, and anybody that's ran a number with that car has either been tuned, significantly weight reduced, a combination of the two, completely different wheels and tire setups. We're talking the tin can type stuff. Nobody's run the number in the as delivered configuration. Gee, where have we heard that before? Keep in mind, guys, I'm part of a team that held the record for an as delivered Demon for, what was it, 2 years? It might have even been longer than that, if it's even been broken at a 978. And that number could have technically been better. And that was Ray's car. Z was driving it, I think, when a 977, 976, something to that effect. So the basically a guy that weighs about 50 pounds lighter than most of the people that would drive the car was able to get a couple of tenths quicker out of it. Duh, go away. This is my surprised face. But the car was driven by people that were very good at driving, and it still couldn't cover a number in density altitude, which is incredibly important in drive. In fact, it's right up there with gasoline as far as how important it is to get a number out of your car. Call it fuel. You know what I mean? Where we just passed through all the best air. Why aren't people running numbers 170? Can somebody give me a reason for that? When, keep in mind, plenty of people have been putting 3-liter Whipples on Hellcats with a fuel system, tuning them on corn and going 870s. 870s. All right. And you can say, well, that car is tuned. You're running more boost. Okay. In mild configurations, those cars are 890s. Everybody that has run a 3-liter whip with a Hellcat in a drag race configuration has run an 8-second time slip with it for the most part, if they're tuned on corn and they run the thing in decent air. That's the reality that a lot of folks are looking at right now. I think that the reason why the Demon 170 is just not getting the love that you would think that it would is because freaking pulleyed 93 octane run-of-the-mill Hellcat. I want you to consider that for just a second. Revlon's pulleyed cousin with a stock fuel pump, maybe, okay, so on race gas. I'll even give you a race gas. Yeah, that's a 940 car. There you go. 940s out of a regular Hellcat with a pulley swap, and you're running it on race gas. Not even corn. And you're running it on the stock fuel pump. 940s, boys. I have driven more. I probably have more 940 passes under my belt just from running customer cars down the track than 940 to 970 for sure. Than a lot. I've driven certainly more 940 to 970 cars than anybody I can think of that doesn't work in a shop. And I can tell you that I just haven't seen anything coming from the Demons. And here's the thing. we can get into a debate as far as what stock, because you've got like H-Town stock. For me, in a Hellcat, you're going to pull the seats if you're going for a number. You can put whatever wheels and tires you want on it because you're going for a number. There's a lot of guys that'll holler out stock though with Demon, and this is the twist with the Demon. Captain, I saw your email, so I want to or your email. What the hell? I saw your message. That's what I'm going to talk about here. It's kind of leading into what I'm saying. That's what you do to a Hellcat, because the Hellcat doesn't come from the factory with drag tires, drag wheel setups, all of the gadgets, gizmos, and contraptions that are in the car to get down the track. The driver is removed from the car really once you start putting all that together. There's a lot of familiarity that comes with it. Don't get me wrong, but the cars that I've seen get into the 8s, they're not in as delivered form. And I'm not saying I know I can already hear your keyboards blowing up. I'm not saying you have to keep it in as delivered form. All I'm asking is that somebody run an 8-second quarter mile in as delivered form. So you got to remember, guys, I don't care what somebody ends up getting out of their car. I'm happy for them, and I'm hoping that they're enjoying it and not just doing it out of some weird sense of obligation. I'm hoping that the people that are out there really leaning on these cars are out there enjoying them and having fun with them. But for crying out loud, can I at least get a time slip from somebody outside of the Dodge organization and outside of months of making hits with perfect air and perfect density altitude, perfect grain counts, perfect track prep, and the list goes on? Can I get somebody to run an 890 anything, 89 XXXXX in a density altitude that's, I don't know, minus 500 with grains in the 60s? Can I see anything like that? The answer to that, again, guys, send me if they have. I want to be the first to congratulate them if they've covered the number in as delivered form. And unfortunately, I just haven't seen it yet. I want to be the first to congratulate those that have, if they have. I personally haven't seen it. And that's the part that's got me a little bit bummed out. And it's also one of the reasons why you won't see this car paired up or journeyed up with anybody, is because what are you going to do? Have everybody show up at the drag strip, right? And have it's the field versus the Demon 170. Remember when you could place that back in Tiger Woods days, when you would have like the field versus Tiger Woods? That's what this looks like. It's the field versus Demon 170. The problem is it's not going to end well for the Demon 170. You would have to get somebody out there with all of the experience in setup and torque management for that car to get it to act right for the track prep conditions that you're working with. It's great for the guys that want to tinker, and it's great for the guys that have the money to put into something like this. But there's a problem, and it's a big old monster problem. And that's traction. That's getting the thing to hook up. That's tires, air pressures. I just can't freaking get past it. I can't get past it. And I know with the 8-second cars that I've been a part of, I know just how, on one hand, simple it is to do. Not that it's easy and not that it's cheap. But if you got green wrench, if you got cash money, yeah, I just earlier on, whip 3.0, tune on 85, twin pump, the whole bit just goes on and on. You can get really bored really quickly talking about this. Do a cat delete pipe if you want. Probably should, especially running corn. All of that you can do. Great. Goes out, runs an 890, rinse and repeat. But what else is there to talk about? And that's in kind of crap air too. But a lot of the guys to do that are running beadlocks. They're rarely are they running a normal 17-inch, never an 18-inch wheel and tire combination. So again, I've been around this stuff for a long ass time. And I'm around guys outside of the Mopar community. I talk to these guys, and there's so much just and move away when the Demon 170 starts to get into the conversation. And the other side of that is this: if you've got a Demon 170, why aren't you going bananas with this thing? Why aren't you field dressing it? Why aren't you race prepping it? This is one of those situations where I wish like hell Scavenger 1320 could have gotten his hands on a Demon 170. Because I know that car would have been probably running 860s at this point with what was left of that car to get down the track. I don't see a damn thing wrong with that. Because to cover a number is to mean that you have put work in. You've tried whatever means you could come up with to get the thing down the track. Fantastic. Because he would do it with a stock tune. But for everybody else that's out there claiming I've done it stock and I've, but you didn't do enough. And that's the other thing. To me, the Demon 170 either needs to just go ahead and land at your 930 airstrip on this thing. Okay. It's a 930 car that with a lot of track prep can go 8s. Say that. That's the problem that I've got with it. Somebody just go ahead and admit that. Because I can't have it be a situation where it's March in Canada on a lottery warm, except in their case, 39-degree day with what is in essence a perfect track prep with 0 grains of moisture in the air to get the thing to run some obnoxious number that they're talking about. So there you go. That's my little bit of a rant on the Demon 170. I'm going to catch up with you guys, and then I'll dive back in me just yammering on about God knows what. Itch is first in. What is up? McMahon is in. Is the Demon impressively built? Yes, it is. It's built like a tank. It's got the cadence. Got the flex and the ball guy with the shades. Sovereign is in. Good to see you, Brother Stewart. I saw half a dozen 170s at the Rock. Very nice. How are they running? X saying, since prices on Dodges are cratering, are you going to grab one now? No, because the regular, the OG Demon is still going for stupid money. And I don't know anybody that has an allocation on a Demon that isn't asking more than, or less than, I should say, $90,000 to $100,000 over sticker. I had a lead on a black one, and that didn't work out. So I bought my truck. Let's see. Stuart saying, I saw them make a bunch of passes, and they're consistently in the 9.0 to 9.5 range. The owners didn't seem to do weight reduction much, though. Yeah, I wouldn't think that a lot of them would. X saying, only people I see in my feed with 170s are Racer X, Demonology, and Speedies. X didn't have any success with his. In the last video, the car came. Interesting. I haven't seen his latest video. I can tell you that there is his first video, and y'all know that Racer X and I go way back. We're actually good friends. Trust me, if anybody can get a number out of that car, it'll be him. He's got more laps in a Hellcat variant than most of the people that I know, and with a car that'll run mid to low 9s too. So. I'm saying, how's it going tonight, Mr. Mason? I've seen a handful of 170s and the 8s on the group. Very impressive stock. But as for dollar for speed, yeah, I agree. The Cat's the way to go. Yeah, I mean, that could very well be the case. But I know that those cars are not as delivered. And Some will say they are when I know that they're not. Gary is in saying, hello, everyone. Hello, Gary. Gary's been putting in some work. DM saying, good evening, tribe friends. Good evening, DM. Speaking of which, DM, are you as excited, not excited about the R9's release? And has the final power output of that damn thing been released yet? Please don't tell me it's the XSR 900 power level. That's going to be a huge disappointment. David is in. Oh, Captain saying, spent all day dropping the cradle out of the 6.1 M6 to fix a leaky diff. Bummer. Threw in some poly bushings and a brace while I was at it for insurance. Very nice. You know, I never dropped the rear mine, and to do the bushing, part of me kind of regrets that. Sniper saying the 8XR Dodge Ram had a super tune. That's the difference. It had a Mother Nature tune. I can promise you that. DM saying Racer X had to send his 170 in for evaluation. It's missing power. Something is up with that car. Sovereign saying, speaking of Demon 170s, any guess as to what might be wrong with Paul's car? Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to have something to do with the bypass, but I don't know, and I don't have a read file, obviously, to find out. Man's asking, so then the Demon 170 isn't that impressive than a 2018 Demon, because you said the Demon 170 is a 930 car and normal Demon is 965. Weird that you would come to that in conclusion, because I never said the normal Demon is a 965, because it isn't. A normal Demon is extremely doing unbelievably good to run a 970 or a 980. And you got to remember, guys, I was the first person to ever run a 9-second pass in a Demon at Houston Raceway Park. So put that feather in my hat. So, but yeah, I can tell you this. The Demon 170 is a far and away more impressive car than the OG Demon, but it better be, because it's got a lot more technology and a lot more time under its belt, so to speak, in terms of technology, in terms of evaluation, in terms of just, you know, the people being able to figure out what was wrong with the regular Demon and, you know, make the changes they needed to for the 170. So I'm saying, don't forget faster with excessive. Yeah. Damn, dude, that was such a good car. So we built excessive at Pikes, and I have a lot of time in that car. Dude, went to Indy today. The new Scout is nice. I keep hearing about it. Yes. I need to get over there and check that out next week. Oh, DMC, I haven't read up on it. Skids may beat me to it. Yeah. So the R9 is going to replace globally the R1 and the R6 for the street. The states are going to keep the R1, but we are also going to get the R9. And there's a lot of folks that are hoping that in Moto Super Sport or whatever the obscure class is, where it's kind of like the gumbo of motorcycles that are competing, that instead of what is in essence this latest crop of neutered 900s, kind of like my Z1, that it's going to come to the table with something closer to 135 or 140 horsepower to allow it to compete more realistically with the likes of GSXR 750. You see what I'm saying? All the real bikes it'll be able to compete with are GSXR 750, GSXS S1000, GSXS 750. And the crop of the naked bikes. The problem is that it's a kind of sport bike, though. And if it comes out with the XSR and it's just a fairing or on a modified XSR slash what the hell, MT09 frame, then it's just not gonna. It's just gonna be a really cute bike, but not really. I don't know how well it'll do. Let's see. Oh, Gary's saying, it was answering why I said Gary's been putting in work, because check this out, guys. We were talking earlier today. Had to work out a couple of issues, but pulled off 2 runner-ups here at Rock at the Rock over the past 2 days. So he's got just getting through with a race event, and Gary was had a very successful weekend. So everybody say congrats to Gary. He's out there rowing the gears himself. So says even more, guys. DM saying, I do want that Scout. Yeah, I keep hearing a lot of good things about it. We man's asking, so then a normal Demon isn't even close. No, it's unfortunately, it's not anywhere in the, it's really not. I'll put it to you like this. A regular Demon is not really any faster, especially when you start looking at it from like a 93 octane point of view. It's not any faster than a regular red eye. Put it on race gas. Yeah, it's faster. It's faster by, 0.3. That's maybe 0.4. That's about it. Certainly not by enough to warrant that you got to shell out for the thing. Let's see. McMahon's asking, are new Mustang GT faster than Hellcat Durango at the drag strip and the street like in a roll race? The new Mustang will, that'd be a good race, but the new Mustang is going to give that Hellcat Durango probably more than it can deal with on the street. But at the drag strip, it wouldn't even be close. That Hellcat Durango would smoke that Mustang. But I will tell you this, the roll racing side of it, that's where that Coyote is pretty nasty. And I'll even go so far as to say this: if you were to build a flat out in a, put a set of 410s and a set of ET Street R's and skinnies and all that, it doesn't take much to get a 10-second pass out of one of the new Mustangs. And you really even have to put a tune on it. That's the thing. You just throw some tires on it, pull some weight out of it, really. And it's a 10-speed automatic. So, performance pack or whatever, you put a tire on the back of that thing that's going to force it to hook, and you just let that thing go through the gears until it gets bored. It's going to be stupid fast. But that's what you get when you can spin an engine to 7,500 RPM or so. And, you can get a Scat Pack variant to go really quick down the drag strip. I mean, it's not uncommon for stock converter mild cam combinations with weight reduction to get into 10s. But obviously it takes really good air to get there. But it's all about that transmission, man. It's transmission and traction when it comes to drag racing. That's it. If you've got the RPM, then you need more gear. If you've got the torque, then you need to hook. I mean, it's basically, it turns into a game of rock, paper, scissors. So, and that's why Gary kicking ass with his car is really impressed, because you're coming at this with a heavy car and it's a manual transmission. And he's out there covering some mile an hours. Really impressive considering the list of mods that he's got. So good job, my friend. Sovereign. Yeah, he's posting up the video for Paul's race against Stockmaster. That's Racer X. The man's asking, do you think the TRX and Track Talk are actually worth $100,000 or not worth it? No, I don't think either one of those things are worth $100,000. No, not even. Let me explain to you why that is. My truck, the F-150 with a blower on it, will give either one of those vehicles all that it can handle and then some, especially if you wanted to play on a roll. And that would be all in with no discounts, would come in about $30,000 less than either one of those other two vehicles. And you say, well, it is aftermarket. Bullshit, because Ford offers a supercharger kit for my truck and it kicks it up to 700 horsepower. And you can just drive around with this thing like it's a normal car, and it comes with a warranty. So, I mean, it's a dealer offered option. And I can get that installed at any point in time, and I still keep whatever is left of my warranty intact. So, it's just kind of one of those things. You know what I mean? When that question, and then, okay, so you might ask, well, the TRX, you've got all this suspension and this and that. Get a trimmer with a 5.0, do the same thing. It's the same shit. Seriously. Plus, you get a more aggressive gear with the 373s. You end up with a vehicle that is every bit as capable, every bit as fast for about $20,000 or $30,000 less. And the only things that you don't get are the driver interface that Dodge has, which is vastly superior if you're a car and you're in nerd stuff and you want to see what this temperature is or that temperature or whatever. The interfaces and the skins and everything else, all of that means something. But if you're not all into that and you're just driving the thing and you're looking at like gas mileage and you're looking at your navigation thing and that's really all you're doing with it, then driver interface don't really matter too much. So anyway, I like, and that here it, okay, so here's the problem though. If you're going to buy a Dodge vehicle and you've got $100,000 laying around, what car do you buy? Think about this. I really let this kind of marinate for a minute. And actually it's not $100,000, bro. It's more like $115,000. So, well, this is starting to sound pretty familiar. What do you buy? Do you buy the TRX for $115,000? Do you buy the insert whatever sticker package car at $100 and whatever $1,000? Do you buy a Wagoneer, like the Grand Wagoneer with the HO inline 6 for $115,000? If you could buy a Demon 170 at sticker, let's say the stupidity doesn't exist and you can just, with the over the sticker and all this other nonsense, and you could get a Demon 170 at sticker, do you go that route? See, the Demon 170 is, again, it's a funny thing because it's a very slow race car. It's a very fast hobby kit car, like a hobby car, like you're just going to the track and that you're just going to the track having fun, but you're not a racer. But you want something that's built like a freaking anvil, like durability wise, can handle a beating in that respect. Then the Demon 170 is a hell of a car because that is what it is. It's made for that. And for that, that's great. The thing is when things don't live up to the promise, the hype, all of that, that's where I've got the problem. But you don't have that. You're not shackled by comparison with the TRX, the Durango, or any of the other offerings. So what do you pick? Well, it starts to get a little bit dicey. I can tell you that down here, we see TRXs everywhere. I mean, you can't swing a dead cat over your head without bouncing one or bouncing the head of that thing off of one of these TRXs. It also goes for the Raptors as well. Trimmers are all over the place down here. Expensive trucks are nothing new to this market. I guess what I'm saying is between the TRX, I don't see that many Durangos, and I don't see that many Trackhawks anymore, which is a damn shame. But what would you rather have? So from a utility standpoint, well, you'd rather have the truck. I can tell you this, between the two, I'm taking the TRX because I've already been around really fast cars. And I can tell you that there's only so much you can do with those things before you can't really do anything with them anymore. What are you going to do? You're not going to be running 9-second quarter mile times on the street, period, no matter how you have it set up. And what are you going to do? Buzz the thing up to 150, 170 miles an hour every once in a while? It's not even fun after you've done it 50 times. It's not even fun after you've done it 10 times. And plus, you're putting yourself at risk. So, no, you take the truck, you have fun with it. That's the difference, really, between, where would you want to spend the money? If you had the money, which none of us do. So Gary's in saying, thanks for getting the car ready for travels. It did hit 119 miles per hour today, which is really good. Yeah, he got deep into 119. And to give you guys an idea, Gary's got one of my cams in his car. It's a manual car, but 119 miles an hour at, the weight that he's at with a Challenger is significant. And I'll put it to you like this. Obviously it's a manual car. You cannot compare a manual car to an automatic. But he's running dangerously close in mile an hour to where some of the faster automatic guys are with lightened up 8-speed cars. So very well done. DM saying Ford really seems to be there right now for its customers. Adding a supercharger to the lineup was awesome. Oh, dude, listen. This is the funny thing. The Gen 4 Coyote, which is what I've got in my truck, has got belt-driven oil pump that can be spun. It's got to whatever RPM you ever want to spin it to. My truck tries to shift. It's in the tune. The truck's stock shift point is 6750. All right. That gives you any idea. Comes with an oil pump, by the way, that's like you probably put it on a 747, right? The thing is amazing. But it's got all of that in a way that you could literally just go, I want the Roush supercharger. They go, it's done. Boop, send you on your way. And it comes with a warranty. So, yeah, there's that. And it's available to anybody that wants it too. It's not it's special. It's a TRX or it's a Raptor R. Now, if you got a pickup truck, you can just wander over to your Ford dealership and they'll throw it on there for you. Probably give it one hell of a road test before they give it back, but they'll put it on there for you. Eric is in. Everybody say what's up to Eric. DM, I'm not a player at $115,000 for a car. I'd rather buy 3 motorcycles. That would put a big smile on my face. Sound familiar? Yeah. Right on the other side of this wall. McMahon, the Tremor is just a bunch of suspension and wheel and tire stuff. That's really it. You can get it with a V8 or you can get it with the 3.5. Those are the only two engines that are available. I drove one with 3.5, which does have significantly more torque down low than the 5.0. And I don't know. I just didn't like the way that truck put power down. I like the way the V8 puts power down better. Eric's saying good evening. Let's get us checking in with Sovereign Knight, making sure you're staying healthy. Yeah, you doing good, bro? Hopefully everything's going well. And I got 4 minutes, guys, and I got to bounce. We're doing that shorter format right now. But guys, I wanted to talk about the Demon 170, not give it any. This is not to be construed with me hating on the car. I absolutely am not doing that at all. Would like to see that thing do exceedingly well, but it needs to do well in how it was promised to do well. We've already been down this path before, and the factory making a factory race car for the street it's got some romance to it. It's easy to get caught up in the story and whatever history you want to get into with times gone by from decades upon decades before us. But the thing is that there's a reality to the market that we live in today. There's a reality to the rest of the world outside of the bubble of Mopar. And that is to say that, how do I put this? That is to say that as a vehicle, as a thing that you would get into, press the button and go for a drive in, it's an amazing car. But it's not a race car. And I think that's where I need to get this really to wrap up at. It's a car you can race, but it ain't a race car. Believe me when I tell you this. At least it isn't from the factory. Now, everybody's seen, well, what about the Plaid and this and that and everything else? A Plaid will smoke a Demon 170. If the Plaid's fully charged, and both drivers are accomplished racers. If you want to just go off of who gets to the end of the quarter mile first, it is going to be exceedingly hard for a Demon 170 to deal with a fully charged Plaid, especially if you've got a fully charged Plaid that can re-bump basically do a bump of electricity after every hit. It just kind of is like that. So, and I only mention that because if we've learned anything, guys, the internet is stupid, and the internet does not have any experience when it comes to what these guys are doing with these cars. The internet only sees results. Okay, fair enough. It's like the boss that we all hated, right? But the internet only sees results. And if a thing goes a faster number than another thing, then another thing sucks. And that's what the course of the internet will give you. Guys, Demon 170 way out for Mopar. It's a great end of the story, end of the line for the LX platform. But it's not a $200,000 car. It is what is in essence what all of us have been doing in the aftermarket with these things, except for the sensed fuel system technology, which I would love to see be an option from Direct Connection. But there is a reality to this. There is a headache that's going to come, and it's coming fast for all the Demon 170 owners, and that's the Banshee. I just hope all of this energy that folks were trying to think that they were going to get out of the Demon 170 gets transferred over to that Banshee. Because if you want to smoke a car that is a car at what it is by physics going to be better at, then you got to come at them with another EV. Like it or not, that's going to be the only hope you've got of consistently running an 8-second any kind of number in whatever air and at whatever track, in whatever prep, in whatever you want to call altitudes and everything else. That's the only way you're going to do it and be able to do it consistently. I'm going to check in with you guys, and then I have got to get out. This kid's saying, "Boy, baby, 5-0." Sovereign saying, no return of AFib since surgery. Very good. I do get some chaotic arrhythmias once in a while. Thankfully, they aren't long, like 10 seconds. Good. Good to hear, man. I just have to watch what I eat and how much of it that I do eat. So good. Glad to hear that, brother. DM's asking, do you read Road Racing World? Nope. It's the only motorcycle magazine I still subscribe to. They do a review on street bikes, but they are racers. No, I haven't, but I should. I need to. I would love to get their perspective on the R9 if it's even worth their time to take a look. I hate to say it like that. Eric saying, put a Coyote in the Ford Explorer. Here's the problem. The EcoBoost in that thing is pretty disgusting. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I'd love to see a Coyote in that thing. Eric's checking in with Sovereign. Let's see. The internet is a series of tubes. It really is. DM saying Dodge is going to have to make their 100% agree with that. Been saying that for a number of years. Ken saying, if Demon 170s were affordable, I would be in. Otherwise, why not just mod your Hellcat? That's been my argument. And that's even if the Hellcat to that level is even worth it. And it ain't, it's not, don't do it. It's just, I wouldn't do it. Keep that the happy levels that I was able to keep mine at. And it's a great car and I wouldn't look back. Skid saying, great live. Y'all have a great evening. And McMahon's asking, is the Tesla plan worth the money? I have no idea. But with that, guys, I got to wrap up. Listen, y'all get out there and do something cool for somebody. Chances are they need it more than you know. Love each and every one of you guys. Would not do this without you. And with that, I've got to get out of here. We will see y'all on the next one. Adios.